So welcome to this first practice of the Move Like Water Flow series. These are simple floor-based movements that get you moving three-dimensionally on the floor with little or no equipment needed. We're going to be going through 3 rounds of these movements, a really simple timing. We're going to be spending about 40 seconds on one movement and resting for about 10-15 seconds in between. As we move through the second and the third rounds, the rest time will become a bit shorter and we will be putting them all together. Know that at any time you can always come back to the first round and make the movements much more simple according to what you need. Remember to always listen to your body. Your body knows you much better than I do. Always modify to suit your nervous system. And also females, tune into where you're at in your cycle. You're going to really need to move differently according to where you're at in your menstrual cycle. But with all that, let's get ourselves moving. We're looking for about a 20-minute practice today. And have fun along the way. Our bodies are designed to move, not sit in chairs and use devices as much as we do. So let's get started with a warm-up series. Alright, so let's just start by rolling out the shoulders. So I'm really big on getting the scapula nice and mobile. So if you're anything like me, maybe you've been sitting in front of a device for a lot of the day, just went and actually had a swim down at Newcastle to refreshen up before getting back on a screen. So always do the things that make you feel good. All right, from here we're going to come up onto the knees, and as you exhale we're just going to take a gentle twist here. So just moving through some really basic movements to start our practice. Again, waking up our spine. I'm not going to talk a lot through the flow. I'll guide you into what we're doing and then just allow you to create your own practice out of this one. All right, beautiful. Let's place one hand down behind here. We're just going to take a little bit of a reach here, a bit more laterally in the body. And again, just working with your body, tuning into how it feels. You can open up into a bit of a back bend if that feels nice for you. If it feels nice, extend the leg out. Again, totally optional for the leg extension. Alright, we'll leave that hand there, bringing it down to all fours as we just move around the spine. Just creating any movements within the scapula, the shoulders, ripple and roll, get into the wrists, turn the fingertips around, feel free to bend the elbows, tuck the toes. Again, make this your own. You'll get very familiar in my practices doing movements like this, in whether it be a yoga practice, mobility or strength. So just let yourself find your groove here. Alrighty, we're gonna just get into some hip opening here. I like to do this from my shins, bringing the knees together, lifting up, and just opening the foot out to the side, taking a sit back down. I'll move around a little bit as we go through this little hip opener to start. Again, you can always use things like blocks to put your hands on if you need to support. Once again, just making this your own. You might find that from this position you might open up into a little bit of a squat, bring it back down to the shins. Again, I really want you to get your own little movement into this, let it feel good for you. And lastly, we're just going to open up our hip flexors, come into a very lazy downward facing dog. Send your bum back over your heels and slowly step your right foot outside your right hand. And just creating any movement here that feels good, maybe getting into the hamstrings a little bit. And in your own time, just pressing back to that crouch position. And then left foot outside left hand. And then again, just moving it around. So rocking forward and back. Extending out the hamstrings, especially if you've been sitting. Maybe even taking a brief little forward fold before we get into a little bit of flow here. All right, guys. Bringing it down, our first movement is going to be our hip swivel pattern into a high plank, just to start. So we'll get ourselves moving for our first round of time. We've got 40 seconds here. Just practicing our hip swivel, and if that feels good, you might creep it out into your high plank position and then back to a hip swivel. Just bring a little bit of stability into the shoulders. Nice protracted plank position here. So allowing your hips to move, that nice 90-90 position. Maybe getting ready to add a push-up on our next round. All right, making this your last one. All right. Our next destination is going to be moving into our plank taps. So as we come into our plank taps, we're going to again find our plank position. Tuck your tailbone under, press into the hands, either onto your toes or down to your knees. And we're just going to be working really slowly, just working into stabilizing through the joints here. At any point, if you need to, feel free to press back to a downward facing dog, and then ripple back forward and continue your plank taps. Try not to rush it. Try to take your time. And try to keep the shoulders over the wrists the whole time while you're here. 15 seconds left. Beautiful, guys. Alrighty. Our next movement pattern is just going to be working through some squat transitions, so coming out of the hands a bit and now working into the legs. Again, as we work through this one, we've got 40 seconds, so a couple of different variations. Just moving into your squat pattern here using the floor. Once again, just staying relatively low, sweeping side to side, having a play around with your version of squat. Transitioning, getting low into the ankles. If it feels good, plant your hands down onto the ground, play around with some floor base patterns here. If not, just staying in that walking low gait position for this first round. So nice and simple. For that first round, we're now going to do those 3 movements 2 more times through. This time, without any rest in between, and potentially with a bit of an add-on as we move into the second round. So we're going to go for our hip swivels, potentially now into a push-up. Amping it up just a little bit, here we go. Hip swivel, walk it out, find a press up, back down to the ground, hip swivel, walk it out. Again, make this your own. Option, of course, to drop down to the knees in your push-up. 1, 2, 0 push-ups. Again, the game is up to you. Have a bit of a play here, 15 seconds. Maybe play with lifting the feet off the ground. Beautiful, guys. 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming back straight away now into our plank tap. Option, instead of your plank tap, is just hovering that right hand off the floor. Maybe extending it up. Bringing that back down and playing on that other side. Play with all different variations here. Maybe hand comes behind the back. Keep squeezing your quads. Option, drop the knees down at any time. Maybe hand lifts, maybe foot lifts. Good work, guys. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, moving to our low gate patterns here. So that's what we're working through. Again, trying to stay into any low gate squat position. Move slower rather than faster into this work. Again, have a play around with different ways to transition. Use your hands. Play around with how you move. Take larger steps. Stay low. Have a play around with your monkey crawl. 5 seconds. Whew. Time. Pause. Try to breathe through your nose. As quickly as possible, try to bring your breath out of your chest and back down to your belly. We have one more round through all of that. Get ready to go. Last round. 3, 2, 1. Hip swivel. Out to a push-up. Maybe make it a bit more dynamic. Having a play around. Adding on, taking away. Just your workout. Wherever you're doing this, just make it fun. All right, guys, 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. So we come into our plank position this time. Maybe we're playing with a contralateral balance. Come onto your left fingertips. Maybe your right foot lifts. Maybe that hand goes out in front. Maybe we bring the elbow knee to touch. Play around with that side. These are all just optional. Bringing that down. And we change. Come onto those right fingertips. Maintain a protraction through your spine. Maybe for the last 10 seconds, have a little wobbly practice here. And then when you're ready, moving into your low gate squat movements. Again, totally up to you how much energy you put into this, how you move. You can make it your own. Feel free to be quite playful in this last round. But always staying low into that nice low gate position the whole time. Good work, guys. 3, 2, and 1. Just walking it out. Shoulders relaxed. Breathe through the nose. We've got one more little sequence to go. Once again, 3 movements. Building it in the first sequence, and then we're going to up the ante in the next 2 sequences as well. Alright, we've got another 30 seconds of breathing here before we drop down into that next round. Just a reminder, if you love this work, if you're enjoying it, please just give this channel a like and subscribe. Helps me to help you to bring these practices to you. And not only to help you move better, but also to others. So I would love it if you could do that for me. Alright guys, let's get ready to move into our second round of movements. Alrighty, so what we're going to start off with is a lunge with a reach. This is a really nice movement, opening up the hip flexors. So as we're stepping back into this one, right, if I've got my left foot forward, I'm going to step back with the right foot. I'm going to be turning towards the side that my knee is forward. So if my left leg is forward, I'm turning towards the left, reaching towards my calf. Standing up, bringing the lunge together and change sides. Step back, Open the thoracic and reach. All right, beautiful. And let's continue with that movement. Come into your version of lunge and then reach. Most of us sit in chairs a lot. Our hip flexors, quads, psoas get really angry and really tight. And we really limit the movement in our spine, especially if we're holding our devices all the time. It's a really nice movement for that. All right, easy, nice. First round done. Give it a little bit of a shake out. Cool. Our next one's a little bit of crawling. We're just going to go our foot hand crawl to inverted crawl and add on a little bit of play at the end of that. So coming down to all fours, fingers spread nice and wide. And starting with your foot hand crawl. And we're going to practice getting the leg under the gap. So I'm going to bring my left leg under the gap, slowly opening into the crab walk. Take a few steps here. And again, as I go under, the leg is going to go under the body, finding a cat position. Continue to just move and switch, however that looks like to you. The focus is quite slow and controlled, pushing the floor away, core on the whole time. Beautiful, and relax. Ooh, our next one invites in a little bit of pace with our movement. We're going to go our monkey, right? And we're just going to pause in a squat for this first one. We're going to add a few things on as we heat it up. So facing laterally, what we're going to do is slide into our monkey crawl. So I'm bringing the opposite hand across the opposite foot and just starting to jump side to side. So hand, foot. Let's just keep practicing that one. Really think about pushing the floor away. Nice, straight, strong arms. In time, you can start playing around with your monkey a little bit. Elevating it up. Having a little bit of play, whatever works for you. 3 movements, 2 more times through. Not much rest in between this time. We're going to be starting off with our lunge and our twist. Think about lifting up from the thoracic as you come back into your twist. All right, guys. Leaving the right foot forward, stepping the left foot back, finding your lunge, and then into your twist. Again, just let this work for you. Get a feel for it. No need to rush. Keep driving down through that front heel. Relax through the upper trapezius as you're doing this. Notice if there's any tension in the face and the jaw. All right, last one here. Then we'll move quite organically into that foot-hand crawl. So wherever you are, transitioning into your foot-hand crawl, maybe adding on a little bit of a toe touch potentially as you move through, as you twist. Maybe we're reaching for that opposite foot. Change, pass under, and crawl. Maybe even speeding it up for a little bit if you like. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Moving into our monkey, this time potentially adding on a sprawl. Monkey, down to the ground, back up, and go again. Again, totally optional. The monkey can be as big or as little as you want it to be. Feet low or high off the ground. Good, and time. Regulate your breathing, be still. Shoulders relaxed. Notice where your breath is. Try to breathe through your nose, keep the mouth and the lips closed. We are prepping for one more round, and that is it, we are done. So let's get ourselves ready to start in that lunge. It's finding where you need to be, left foot forwards, taking a step back with that right foot, and then opening into that lunge. Again, just having a bit of play, move it around a little bit if you'd like to, make it quite fluid. Option, if you'd like to, after your twist, adding in a little hip hinge, and then stepping back, potentially. Nice way to open the backs of the hamstrings there. About 2 more in this third round. Beautiful. All right, let's shift that into our foot hand crawl as we're moving into this version, maybe adding on a little tuck here, hands pull back, hips pull through, round over into your crawl. Again, swapping over, maybe reaching for the toes. Make it organic. Have a play around. We're nearly done here, guys. Again, maybe having a little pull through, maybe floating those feet off. Whew, warm in here. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Monkey to sprawl. Again, as we're working through this one, feel free to have a little bit of a play, make it quite organic. Again, if it feels nice and you're warm to play around with throwing your legs up in the air a little bit, go for it. Or speed it up, down to the ground. Make it your own. Nearly done here, guys. Again, not each one has to be the same. And when you're done, take a seat. Whew. Hope you're feeling good. 90-90 position. Swiveling out those hips, adding in a flow. My heart rate is definitely up. I'm not sure about yours, but I really enjoyed that. I hope that you guys did too. Let's take a few more of these just in that cool down process. I'm not offering a long cool down today. I'll offer more in my full videos on my Move Like Water coaching programs. So mobility, strength, calisthenics, and yoga programs are coming. Right now on offer, I have my 4-week nervous system reset course online. That will be running all throughout the year. And the first one kicks off on May the 12th. If you're interested to learn a little bit more about your autonomic nervous system from the inside out, then I really encourage you to jump onto the link that I'll post below. Learn a little bit about your body from the inside out, which will then help the physical body move a lot better when we can understand what stress and overwhelm looks, feels, and sounds like in our bodies as well. Let's bring ourselves just into a bit of a twist here. So we want to tuck the hip under, so I'm going to bring my left hip underneath my right, just letting that leg float out. If you've got a clip in here, you might want to take it out. Your sternum is up. And let's just pause here. I'm going to move this around a little bit, but for now we're just going to pause here. you're very welcome to stay here, or what you can do is bring the right arm over and you're going to reach towards that right leg. Now we're going to change sides. We're going to kind of bring the right leg up. As we do that, we swivel to the other side and just take a few moments here. Just allowing that left leg to pause, and then when you're ready, reach across, reaching for the leg, and we're just going to like move into this rolling supine twist, one of my favourite ways to move, especially at the end of the practice. So really just allowing your body to open, especially into the shoulder capsule, and allow the thoracic just to really like be quite fluid here. You might even close down your eyes. Is this something you discover and dive into a little bit more in the mobility series? Again, just moving more away from static stretching and just getting that body moving out of chairs and off devices that feel more like play than exercise. Alright guys. Lastly, just coming back up to a seated position. Just crossing your legs for a moment here. And we're just going to take a moment to bring the left arm out to the left. We're going to bring that hand just over into the head and let your left shoulder drop down. We really want to keep space between our ear and our shoulder. Again, we understand that if our shoulders are up around our ears, we communicate not only to ourselves but to others that our nervous system is in a state of tension, right? So it's really, really important how we hold ourselves. So drop that left shoulder down, very gently pulling the head over or the right ear towards the right shoulder. Reach with that left arm. Breathe in from the nose. Feel the belly rise. Breathe out through the nose and feel the belly fall. Alright, beautiful. From here, just very gently letting that neck roll to the opposite side. Right hand goes out. Straight spine. Drop the scapula and the trapezius down. Holding onto the head, very, very gently pulling the ear in towards the shoulder. Try not to elevate that track up. And we take a beautiful stretch down the SCM muscle and the upper trapezius, a really, really important part of our autonomic nervous system. I call this the armor. And again, I talk about it a bit more in the nervous system course, but our job as humans is to really tune into when we put on our armor, right, and protection mode, and ask ourselves the question, is this needed or necessary, right? So through movement, we get a chance to shake this off. We should be supple and strong human beings that are not living in these rigid and stuck bodies. So I hope you got a lot out of that practice. It's a really nice one to pop on every now and then to get familiar with the movements, and a really great basis for your movement practice at home. I'd love to know what you thought, so please leave me a comment, make sure you subscribe, and if you're interested in the nervous system course, the link is down below.